That's what all you desperate hoes want? To control the money in the household, so then that way the man has to come to you begging every day, emasculating his ass? I mean, don't be mad at me. Love bugs, hello there, bellas. If you have not already done so, please hit the Patreon link below and or the join button here on the YouTube. And for a small monthly fee of $5, you babies, yes, you can be privy to all the shenanigans before the YouTube gets it, if the YouTube gets it. Now, let's continue talking about LaToya Jackson. Although Joseph was completely cut out of his son's business, my brother saw to that. My brother and the rest of us were saddled with Joseph's financial entanglements. We had no idea he was in such dire straits until Jack Gordon told me, call a family meeting. Your father's in real trouble. What kind of trouble? I asked. Your father is broke. He has no money. What? No money? That can't be true. But it was. Among the many people to bilk him was an unscrupulous tax advisor who persuaded our father not to pay his taxes directly to Uncle Sam, but to make the checks out to him. I'm inclined to believe her when she said he got gooped with the tax man. Okay, y'all, if you hear snoring in the background, it's always Lou. I'm sorry, y'all. Among the many people to bilk him was an unscrupulous tax advisor who persuaded our father not to pay his taxes directly to Uncle Sam, but to make the checks out to him. And do you think he forwarded all that money to the government? Of course not. He deposited it in his personal bank accounts. This went on for years, putting Joseph hundreds of thousands of dollars in the hole to the IRS. And that was only the beginning. It was a disaster. My siblings and I discussed how we could help Joseph. I figured out that the net proceeds from just one of Michael's Japanese concerts could go a long way towards settling that debt. I talked to Mother about approaching Michael, knowing that only she could convince him to help the father he despised. For some reason that I couldn't fathom then, she seemed reluctant to bring up the subject. Another time, after she'd promised she would, I walked up to her and Michael. Mother, did you ... I nodded in Michael's direction. Did I what? She said quickly. Did you tell him about Joseph? What about Joseph? As if she had no idea what I was talking about. And we discussed this for the better part of the week. Mother, you were supposed to ask him about giving Joseph money from a concert. For what? Michael, meanwhile, kept looking back and forth between us, totally confused. Because Joseph needs the money, Mother. You know he's in trouble. No, he isn't, LaToya, she reprimanded. You know he doesn't have money problems. Denial, sad to say, was a hallmark of our family. Joseph's in trouble? My brother asked. Yes, Michael, bad trouble. No, he's not, Mother snapped. Don't listen to her. I then realized my mother had no interest in helping her husband. Why? Because as she often said, if Joseph is penniless, he'll stay home. Okay, hold on. Because a lot of women say that about their husbands. A lot of them. If he ain't got no money and he broke, he gonna sit down. Okay, as long as there's not an addiction involved, because if he an addict, he gonna get out there and he gonna get that money. Even if he got to sell your pearls and diamonds and furs and jewelries, all that shit he bought you 2 years ago before he started smoking dippers. That sounds normal. That's what some women do. Instead of just letting the man go, be free, they would rather cripple them to the point where they cannot fly. They'll beat the bird down. Yes, they will. They will clip his wings just to say that they got a man at home. Catherine's got a man at home.
alone.
At one family meeting, Michael not only generously agreed to bail out his father, he proposed a plan that would generate even more money. I'll give Mother all the merchandising except the posters, he explained. This way, I won't have to do the date specifically for Joseph. What Michael did, in essence, was to cleverly ensure that our father never received a penny. Instead, he gave the considerable proceeds solely to Mother. She now controlled the Jacksons' finances and, by extension, Joseph. Isn't that what all you desperate hoes want? To control the money in the household, so then that way the man has to come to you begging every day, emasculating his ass. I mean, don't be mad at me. This real coffee today, y'all. This real coffee. Ain't that what you desperate hoes want? With the end in sight, we had another family meeting. Jack explained that Joseph still needed some additional help in erasing his enormous debt. Once and for all, Michael spoke up asking, why should I help him again? Jack, who'd never dealt with my brother in business, was taken aback by his cold tone. If I help him this time, I'm going to be helping him for the rest of my life. And all he's done is cost me money and misery. But Michael, he's broke. After a moment of silence, my brother said, okay, I'll help him one last time. Everyone else also agreed to contribute money to bail out our father, with the understanding that he close his office and get out of the music business forever. Now listen, by this time, I don't know if the Jermaine is working around there to the Safeway somewhere in California. I don't know. But if Jermaine can give his little portion of his Safeway paycheck, then why the hell came Mike? Jack presented the plan to my father, who initially agreed to the conditions, but the day before the final settlement, the two of them were driving to the office when suddenly Joseph bellowed, I'm too young to retire. I ain't gonna retire, and they don't tell me how to run my business. So my father continued going to work every day. Sometimes he just sat moodily in the private office all day, shades drawn, lights off. He don't want to give up. I don't blame him, but hey, I mean, when you a philanthropist, prestigious, what's the name, Infidelity. What you expect? He ain't got nothing to do. If he ain't got no money, he can't buy his hoes. I mean, goddamn. And that's what Catherine wants. Catherine knows as long as he broke, them hoes ain't gonna come around. So I ain't giving him no money. During the late 1980s, my career kept me traveling constantly. On one flight, I met an attorney who knew First Lady Nancy Reagan. We started talking, and I mentioned how interested I was in child-related issues, especially drug abuse. He told me that he'd informed the First Lady, then launching her Just Say No campaign, that I wanted to help in some way. Man, when I tell you they banged that Just Say No to Drugs campaign in my face during the crack epidemic, he told me that he'd informed the First Lady, then launching her Just Say No campaign, that I wanted to help in some way. He was true to his word. A short time later, I was invited to the White House, where Mrs. Reagan and I talked for quite some time. It was in October 1987, only days following her mastectomy. So I was surprised that she would see anyone. I found her genuinely concerned about the escalating adolescent drug problem and committed to making a difference. She was very kind as she said, I can tell that you really care about these children. A lot of people don't. We'll be working together. It will take a lot of your time and a lot of hard work, but it's something we believe in. I agreed at once to become a national spokesperson for Just Say No, the national organization of youth clubs that provide educational, recreational, and service activities to encourage a drug-free lifestyle. In that capacity, I crisscrossed the country for the next 2 years, talking to kids about drugs, and recorded the song Just Say No. What? Do y'all remember LaToya Jackson's Just Say No? Matter of fact, I don't. Did LaToya Jackson ever come to my high school or my junior high school? Did she? Hey, y'all, did LaToya Jackson ever come to your school and speak to y'all about just saying no to drugs? Because I can't recall. My busy schedule kept me away for months at a time. Michael, too, was rarely home. Yet my siblings and I remained close, now speaking on the phone instead of holding family meetings. I don't think a day passed where I didn't talk to at least one of my brothers and sisters. The nest at Havenhurst wasn't empty for long. Michael phoned me from Japan to say Jermaine and Hazel were divorcing after a 14-year marriage that had produced 3 children. We'd seen this coming for a while. Ironically, as much as Jermaine resented Joseph's cheating on mother and having a second family, he repeated the same pattern in his own life, having a child out of wedlock with a woman he met one night in a restaurant. Ain't he a Sagittarius? Speaking of that. Darn it. Darn it, darn it. Darn it. Darn it. Darn it, darn it. Can y'all see that? Darn it. There go the baby mama right there, y'all. Hazel loved Jermaine so much that she overlooked his infidelity, even offering magnanimously to adopt the baby. This enraged Barry Gordy, who saw his daughter being made a fool. It was, I must admit, a pretty bizarre situation. On our regular family days, Jermaine brought along his out-of-wedlock child. See, nothing wrong with that. Hazel obviously loved Jermaine enough to try making the marriage work. As always, my heart went out to the children and to the child's mother, who I later found out had no idea her baby was being cradled in Hazel's arms. And what is that? LaToya, what the fuck? You ladies down there tell me why that's a problem. Hazel wanted to adopt the baby. She don't have no animosity towards the baby. I love the baby. Okay, I could see if she was being petty, like, oh, don't bring that baby around me, keep it out of sight. You know what I'm saying? She wasn't like that. Bring the baby into the fold. Once you've forgiven the man for his infidelity, you damn sure better accept the baby. What the hell? The baby a Jackson, ain't he? Don't he deserve that Jackson money? Pause, because Jermaine working at the Safeway. Don't he deserve that Michael Jackson money? I think so. Excuse me, ladies. If you forgive your husband for cheating on you and having a baby on you, would you accept the child in your home? You can be honest. Once Jermaine and Hazel's breakup seemed imminent, my parents begged him to come home again. He did, bringing his girlfriend and their new baby, later joined by a second child. Child, when I tell you I'm excited for this damn book, I ain't playing. There's gonna be so much juice in this damn book, because LaToya telling juice, some of it's MK Ultra juice. Number one, it's always about her. So if she gets with a partner that makes it always about her, she will believe anything that partner says. And that's how I feel Jack Gordon got up in her head. But let's move forward. Despite the fact that I was a grown woman, my mother grew obsessed with me being away from home so much. In early 1988, my itinerary returned me to Los Angeles for a few days. It was good to be back at Havenhurst, and especially to see Mother. She'd been acting increasingly odd, but I'd missed her terribly. 2 days before I was to leave, she came into my room and remarked, "LaToya, you look very thin. Why don't you eat?" It sounded like the kind of thing all mothers say. "No, I'm really not that thin, Mother," I replied. "In fact, if you ask me, I think I'm a little fat." Hold on. Well, she offered, "I have some Lasix. Why don't you take some?" I couldn't believe my ears. Having just claimed I was too thin, why was she offering me this prescription diuretic or water pill? Lasix is far from harmless, sometimes causing a fatal imbalance of electrolytes and crucial minerals, even in healthy people. I know because as a teenager, overly concerned about my weight, I'd taken it and on 3 occasions suffered severe reactions. Pause, girl. Okay, call a dick a dick. Okay, don't call it a dildo. Call it a dick. You had an eating disorder. Okay, and it's like sometimes she breezes over things and don't call them what they are. And to this day, LaToya Jackson still looked like she struggled with an eating disorder. Janet Jackson, she also has an eating disorder. She talked about it in her documentary. I myself, I have an eating disorder. When things get rough for me or mentally, when I'm going through some things, I will up. We got this thing called Just Bunt down there. You hear me? Oh, girl, I could go there every day. Like one time I was on a honey bun a day diet. I just got finished being on a bunt cake a day diet. And now I'm on this cheese Danish a day from Starbucks diet. I know, because as a teenager, overly concerned about my weight, I taken it and on 3 occasions suffered severe reactions. Mother knew this. She also knew that after the 3rd emergency, doctors had warned me never to ingest it again, or I could die.